Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of Barham Engines. So guys, as you can see, I've got the Barham Engines hoodie back on and I'm about to head into work. I am able to weight bear on the leg now. I'm at home at the moment. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm just going to head out for some breakfast with my daughter and she's going to drop me off at work and see how long I can stand. So before any of you sort of say, really, you should be keeping off it, I have been keeping off it. I'm going to be good as gold. I'm going to go back into work, sort of put my leg up on the desk if I have to, just see how I get on for a couple of hours and do a bit of paperwork really and see if I can boss the lads around, see what's going on in there. So yeah, let's head on over to the workshop, guys, and see what's going on over there. Just hate to boss you about, Paul.
What's that, mate?
I just hate to boss you about.
I think you enjoy it, really.
Not really.
Deep down.
I feel totally helpless waving this thing at you.
Careful, mate. You'll unfocus the camera.
Oh.
Not your hand anymore. It's the... How is your knee now, Lee?
It's not great, Paul.
It's not great.
I'm trying it on the one stick here, just so I can hold the camera.
Well,
try and get a bit of weight bearing on it. But
you're doing better than you did a few days ago.
Probably get a rollicking off some of the viewers.
Yeah, but you can't stay at home.
Can't stay at home. There's bossing about to be done, Paul.
Bossing about.
And this doorway was almost unapproachable.
You've been busy all the time. 4 days is a long time to have off.
4 days is a very long time. But it's been 5 now, in fairness.
5? Oh, I mean, I felt like over Christmas I had like 4 or 5 days off. It felt a bit odd, really.
Really?
Having a withdrawal.
I've had a lot of time off. I've probably had more time off in the last month or so than I have in 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah, because I was ill, wasn't I, in December.
Yeah, you were, yeah.
And then I had a week off on holiday. Christmas. Now I'm milking this.
So you milk, yeah. So you milked all December basically. You're milking it now. John's hard at work over there. Look at him, stressing.
John, bless him. Coming to an absolute mountain of it here.
A mountain.
So what we got here? We've got a crankshaft. What's this? A V8?
I think it might be Cummins actually.
Is it? So it looks like a V8. This. Some guy sent in.
It's a big boy.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Wants it all balanced, so obviously John's got to check the crank and got pistons, rods, new pistons coming apparently. Got new bearings and what have you supplied.
ARP.
What else we got here? Interesting.
Prizer.
We've got plenty of barrels to rebore. Got a Cummins cylinder head there. It's got to be refaced by the looks of it. Subaru heads. Now these Subaru heads are for a customer of ours, Chris Petherick. And we did those heads quite a while ago for this Subaru, but apparently he needs to do the clearances. They've been off before. You can't find shims for the buckets, so we've got another set of heads which are hydraulic and we've got to go through them and put them on.
That is a heavy crank.
Whether any of you know that these Subaru heads come in various different combinations of hydraulic, non-hydraulic, different cams, and don't quite know why they bugger about them so much, to be honest. Yeah, unblocking the fire exit. Well done, Paul.
Safety goggles are over. Not really more actually. Oh, they're there.
Safety goggles are over there. Don't need them just yet.
No.
I think what we'll do, mate, here.
Yes.
All right. Is we'll we'll put that over there, just out of the way of the fire door. Keep everyone happy.
Yeah.
And safe.
That's only been there for 20 seconds.
Yeah, that's right. So there's the Lancia Fulvia. Looks like that's all done. I think the customer wants to build that himself. And he did email me actually, the customer, and he said once he gets the engine done and in, he'd like to bring the car back and us do a bit of a review on the car. I'd like to do that. I haven't seen one of them for a long time. You guys are probably wondering why Paul and I are making room here. One, because when I come in, you could barely get to the door.
Yeah, we're a little bit, yeah.
A little bit extreme, but
yeah.
But also we've been promised the vapor blaster for tomorrow, so that's meant to be being delivered tomorrow.
Beautiful.
2 problems. One, trying to find a forklift. Apparently they've got a tail lift on the truck, but it's not quite big enough safely to get the vapor blaster down. I don't think it's very heavy, but
it can't be any more than half a tonne, surely.
It's about the same size as that, to be honest with you, which is about 1.3 metres squared.
Have you got any idea what the weight of that is?
That's quite heavy. But
the scale of 1 to heavy, it's quite heavy.
Yeah, it's quite heavy on scale of 1 to heavy.
We could ask Dayton Storage over the road, but I don't know what the deal is with driving their forklift on the road. If you can.
Are they all road legal?
Well, they're not. They haven't got a number plate, have they? But it's battery powered, isn't it? So whether it's
we could ask the viewers, but I expect their answer is going to be if it's road legal, we can take it on the road.
If you've driven a forklift on the road, give us your thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it's legal or not.
Yeah. And if it isn't legal, we'll get Isaac to do it.
Paul's got a license. You got a license still, mate?
Yeah. I've never had any points.
What on your forklift license?
No, I thought you meant no. I thought you meant fucking car license.
You ain't gonna get done for speeding, that's for sure.
No, I had a forklift. The place I used to work at years and years ago, I did a forklift license there, but I just ran out, I think. But most people can drive a forklift, not hard, is it?
No.
So.
Right, so Paul's been cracking on with the Cosworth very kindly. Cylinder head is on. It's upside down at the moment. I'll get him to turn it over in a minute so we can have a little look at it. First problem that we've come across, he's gone to put the sump on. Now, I did mention, I'm sure in the last video, if we just take that off there, we've put the oil jets down in the base of the block there, which is a great idea. The squirters come directly off the oil gallery and spray oil down into the base of the pistons, which is a lot better idea. And then what you do is you run a T25 small turbo Escort Cosworth oil pump, high pressured mind. And then what we do is we run a pickup pipe off a Pinto. Now, I'm pretty sure I have done it on a four-wheel drive before. I can't remember because we've done so many Cosworths. I've got a feeling we've done this conversion on the four-wheel drive using a four-wheel drive sump. Problem we've run into at the minute is, as I said to you before, you've got the pickup on the right there with the Heath Robinson spray jets for standard. And then on the left there, you've got a standard Pinto one, which we've just bought off the internet for fairly cheap. The reason we do that and we don't hack the original about, two reasons. One, because it's a slightly different design on the end there. If you have a look at the two holes, in comparison to the centre hole that goes up to the pickup pipe, you see that pipe is central, whereas on the end of the pump, it is offset very slightly. If you can see that, the big hole is slightly towards that way. So that's one reason you can't run the original pipe with that pump. We don't want to run an original pump with that pipe because obviously it's the whole idea of doing it is to block that off. And these pipes are fetching about 300 quid second hand. So for the sake of 20-30 quid, we'll get a pickup pipe off a Pinto and use that. Now, the problem we've come across so far is the sump. As you can see, the sump slopes off on the four-wheel drive at the back, which means internally it slopes off in a sort of different direction to that pickup head there. So when we go to put the sump on, there's about a ½ inch gap there where it's touching on the bottom of the sump is touching on the pickup. So we're either going to have to modify that, sort of do some brazing and cutting and what have you, or we're going to have to find a pickup to suit. But at this point in time, I'm struggling. I'm struggling on finding one and whether they even do one. So it looks like that's what we're going to have to do. I mean, these pickups are they're a little bit of a weird setup anyway. You normally find, even when you put, if any of you have changed an oil pump on a Cosworth, you find when you take the pump off, put the other pickup on the pump and then put it back on the engine, it always sits a bit differently than when it did originally, because it's only held on by this 8mm bolt here. So yeah, so that's the issue we're having with that in a minute. But apart from that, it's all looking pretty good, albeit it's upside down. I think Paul has painted the rocker cover blue today, so we blasted that. He's etch primed it, painted it in it's almost like a bit like an imperial blue. You know, they did an Escort Cosworth in the imperial blue. There's about 5 different
shades of imperial blue.
Yeah,
so one of those.
It looks very nice, and obviously next thing we're going to do is set it up, and once it's dried properly, and just machine the top so it's nice and shiny, and that just brings out the lettering of the Cosworth and the turbo on there, brings that out. So we should do that, and then next, I think, final step is time it up, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's loosely timed up at the moment, the cams and the piston obviously, but
it's roughly timed up, and TDC cams are in roughly the right position. But that's it really, guys. So next task is to get that sump to fit properly. So the VR6, as you seen in our last video, Paul kindly took over from me and sort of run you through what he was doing. This is the VR6. Crank turns absolutely lovely, doesn't it?
One finger. Look at that.
Absolutely lovely, that. Next steps with this, the cylinder head's all gone through. I did notice a few comments in one of my last videos saying you people would like to see this one in the build process. Rods and pistons and that, Paul, balanced all those, and
yeah, rods and pistons all done. All happy there, all down to, I think, like half a gram, something like that.
Yeah.
A gram, half a gram, so.
Lovely job.
It's pretty good.
So, yeah, with this one, it'll be rods in, pistons in, sort of dummy build on the pistons. We ain't had the pistons in yet, have we?
No.
Just to check the heights and what have you. And
I've done some footage already for putting this bottom end together. And when we put the pistons and rods in, we'll do a bit more. And maybe we're doing one for the head. So maybe we'll do like a mini sort of
yeah, the heads are fairly simple on these. If we have, just take that cover off, I'm sure we've shown you this one. It's a nice, cleverly designed head, really. 12 valve, obviously because it's a narrow V, as opposed to having two heads, you've got one single head. Yeah, because it's 12 valve, very simple. Uses hydraulic lifters, so there's no complicated setup. Uprated cams, we've got the Newman cams for it. So yeah, this is going to be a bit of a fast road engine, and being in a Mark II Golf, going to be fairly leery, I would have thought.
They're PH2s, fast rear, so I don't know if he uses it on the road or if he uses it as a circuit, but it'd be a nippy little motor. Yeah,
I think his plans are to do a couple of track days and that, but mainly.
I think they're about 160, 170 standard, aren't they? So
yeah.
I mean, you would hope to see a sort of 15 horsepower increase for set of fast road cams, wouldn't you?
That's right, yeah.
So,
but it's the sound of these, they sound good, don't they?
They sound quite different, don't they? They sound nice, but not like anything you've really heard before.
No, they do sound really, really nice.
It's a weird engine to work on, really. Like, they're not that complicated, but obviously the timing chain assembly's at the rear.
Yeah.
So ideally, you probably should think about maybe trying to make this fit on the side, but
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
If not, we'll have to put it on a crane or something. But they're not really that complicated. I thought they would be. But
no. What about the oil pump on these, Paul? Does that go in? Is that internal in the sump? Is it driven off the chain?
Oil pump sits on. Where is assembly? Can't remember now. It's in here.
Is it?
Yeah, it runs off a chain basically.
Oh, okay.
I'm fairly certain it runs off this because it's like you've got two chains basically.
Oh, okay.
I took photos of it anyway, so it'll go back.
We'll have a look at the photos. I'm sure.
And we've got the timing chain set up anyway on auto data, so.
Yeah. You see the sump down there, looks a bit of a mess, but that has been modified obviously because it's in a Mark II Golf as opposed to a Mark III. They've sort of modified that, so we're just going to have to check that, make sure there's no leaks, etc.
They're the old cams, just need the cogs off of these really.
Yeah.
And then obviously a custom cam for them back. Actually a water pump pulley means cut off.
Right.
The bolts are obviously rounded off as
nice.
They do.
Yeah, it's little things like that really that take extra time that people sort of don't appreciate.
I mean, that's potentially going to take half an hour to do that, if not. Yeah, I mean you need that pulley. That's the problem.
Yeah. So there we go.
Yeah.
Well, I've managed to do 3 or 4 hours at work, everyone. I'm back home now. As you can see, we are due the Vapor Blaster. It was going to be delivered tomorrow, but unfortunately, we're not able to get a forklift. The guy only rang me this morning, really, in fairness, to say that possibility we could get it delivered. So, no, I'm not able to get one. We haven't even got a forklift on our estate, so I'm going to have to hire one. So, unfortunately, that's not going to arrive. Legs started to play up towards the end of the day. It started to go a little bit dead, so I don't want to push it. I'm going to take all you guys' advice who have had this done in the past, and I'm going to put it up for tonight. Don't want to be too stupid or rush things, but it is very frustrating. When I got back there, I just wanted to crack on with work. You know, we're up to our eyeballs in it, and the boys are doing really well, but bit of a nightmare. But yeah, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Until another video, please take care, and subscribe, like, and we'll see you in another one. Cheers, guys.